My boyfriend's friends call me fat and ugly, and my boyfriend doesn't defend me. Disclaimers is not my story time. I sent me on Instagram. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3 months. We're both in our early 20s, and his friends are a tiny bit older. Some of these guys are already married, but they always try to convince my boyfriend to not get married. And here's how things started. A few weeks ago, we all had a pool party. They all brought their wives and girlfriends, and all of these women have had plastic surgery. I'm talking BBLs, lip filler, everything. Me, on the other hand, I'm completely natural. I'm on the skinny side, so I don't have a lot of fat in my body. That means I don't have a lot of curves. But my boyfriend has told me time and time again that he loves my body. We're both really attracted to each other, and I've never in my life been told that I'm ugly or fat. I'm not sure how it came up. During the pool party, the men started rating all the girls at the party. They were trying to do it behind our backs, but I happened to hear the conversation. No, my boyfriend didn't say anything. He kind of just stayed quiet. Guess who they started with first? Me. They said I was a hard 4, that I didn't have a womanly body, and that my face was too angular. Then one of them straight up said she's kind of ugly. They all started to laugh, and they rated the rest of the girls there. Everyone else was pretty much a 9 and a 10. But the entire time, my boyfriend stayed quiet. It's obviously really upset me. Went to the bathroom and just cried for the rest of the night. My boyfriend came looking for me part 2. My boyfriend's friends call me fat and ugly, and he doesn't defend me. Disclaimers is not my story time. Send me on Instagram. I basically spent the entire night in the bathroom crying. My boyfriend came over and knocked on the door. He instantly started apologizing to me. He knew that I had heard the entire conversation and told me that he was sorry. I asked him why he didn't defend me, and he said that he didn't want to go against his friends, that they were his only group of friends, and that he didn't want to get on their bad side. I told him next time he needed to defend me, that if he didn't do it, then I would. And he said, please don't get into a fight with them. They're really cool guys. I ended up leaving the party, and I didn't say bye to anybody. A few weeks later, I had to hang out with them again. But this time, they started talking about the way that I was dressed. One of them said that the dress I was wearing made me look really pudgy. And again, they would all laugh. And yeah, they said all of this in front of me. I looked at my boyfriend and said, are you not going to defend me? And they all started laughing at my boyfriend. By the way, if I haven't mentioned this, they all went to the same sorority, so I think they still have that sorority mentality. One of the wives that was there thankfully stepped in and told them that they needed to leave me alone because I looked good. A few hours later, somebody was talking about kissing, and one of them asked my boyfriend what it was like to kiss me because I had 0 lips. I instantly stormed out of the party. My boyfriend followed me. Part 3 is call me ugly and fat, and he doesn't defend me. Disclaimers is not my story time. And send me on Instagram. They told him it must have been awful kissing me because I had 0 lips. Instantly ran out of the house and went to my car. I was so humiliated, and once again my boyfriend did not defend me. He followed me to my car, and I asked him if he loved me or not. He said he did love me, that his friends and him just had a different way of talking about girls. I told him that hurting my feelings was not a different way of talking. A few hours after I got home, one of the wives started texting me. She told me that his friends spent the whole night bad mouthing me, and that essentially they were trying to convince my boyfriend to break up with me. They kept telling him that he could do better than me, that I was simply just not pretty enough. Finally, my boyfriend did tell him that he thought I was beautiful and that he liked me. That's when they all told him that he needed to get glasses. That's when she told me her theory. She said that they probably found me somewhat attractive and that they didn't want my boyfriend to be with me because they wanted me. I feel like that's a little bit far-fetched. It's kind of like the thing in school they tell you. If a boy bothers you, it means that he likes you. Maybe it's true. Either way, I told my boyfriend that I would never hang out with his friends again, but I am thinking of breaking up with him. Can't believe that he wouldn't defend me, not even a little bit. And when he did, I wasn't even present. Also, the way they talk about women is just disgusting. I do love him though. What should I do?
Am I wrong for threatening to cut my parents off financially to stop my brother from proposing at my wedding? I, 27 male. I'll start this off by saying my wedding is scheduled for April because my fiance, 25 female, has always dreamed of a spring wedding. And I really like the idea too. I have an older brother though, 30 male, and last Saturday I was called over to my parents' house to talk about something, but they refused to tell me what it was until I got there. They even sat me down with my brother and told me that my brother wants to use my wedding as a perfect day for him to propose to his girlfriend. I was instantly mad and told them absolutely not, but they ganged up on me. I ended up so enraged to the point that I, one man, somehow backed all 3 of them into a corner. I told them that if they want to do this, they'll not only be uninvited, but I'll also cut off the financial support I've been giving monthly since they paid to have my golden child brother go through college by taking out a second mortgage. I landed a decently high-paying job and have been sending $500 to my parents monthly to help ease their mortgage. And I didn't ask for a stake in the ownership of their house either. It was entirely goodwill and I can cut it off anytime. I left without speaking anything more to them, but my brother came to my home the next day to yell at me, saying that I ruined his big chance because now our parents are siding with me and say they'll evict him if he tries to propose at my wedding. He said I was financially blackmailing our parents and that he just wanted a good chance to propose because he was afraid his girlfriend might leave him soon. And if he tries to propose at my wedding, I will have him thrown out. That's not a maybe, but a definite. I said that was his problem, not mine, because my wedding day is not about him, and I doubt his girlfriend would appreciate her proposal followed up and being tossed out by a bouncer. Honestly, people, I don't think any girl really likes getting proposed to at weddings. Like, I don't know why guys think of this idea. It's so lazy. He yelled a few choice words at me, then went crying to our only surviving grandparent, our maternal grandmother, and she called to try and read me over the phone. No surprise, my brother heavily embellished the version of the story he told her, but she still sided with him after I gave her the real story. She tried to hold her ground, but the verbal backlash I ended up giving her left her crying. That got back to my parents, who are now pissed at me for taking things this far. No, you didn't, your brother did. But I told them that I only went that far because I had to when they were all trying to get me to let my brother use my wedding as a springboard for a proposal. They ended up agreeing with me, but still stated they feel like I'm crass. And my brother showed up at my home again to scream at me, and I hope I'm happy with myself for not allowing him the opportunity. I thought I was entirely in the right at first, but maybe I really did take it too far with my brother.
We were at a wedding 2 days ago. A friend of ours was getting married. Many of our friends were also invited since we're all a huge company and we know each other. At some point, the girlfriends, partners, wives of the guys were left alone at the table and we kind of chatted and left the rest of the men to have some space on their own. So this guy's girlfriend, that guy is also a friend, was with us at first, but after a while she got up and started going around her boyfriend. She would not leave him alone, and me and the other woman found it extremely disrespectful how she kept following him around and not giving him space. So I called her name and told her to approach me for a bit.
Cause they can't read all his motions. How the kid never switch codes, but he code switch focus.
I kindly told her that she was being disrespectful by following her boyfriend around and not giving him space to spend time with other men, and how she should sit down with us instead. She said, "Thanks, but I'm okay, don't worry about it," and left again. I followed her and told her that she's looking like a clown for following her boyfriend around like a lost puppy and she better act serious, and that's when she got all pissy and told me to mind my business and how this doesn't concern me. Then her boyfriend came to me. Again, her boyfriend is also a friend of mine, and told me that I was out of line for trying to police what his girlfriend does and where she goes. He told me that she has social anxiety and it's one of the few public and crowded events that she's attended in a while and doesn't do well with strangers, which is what we are to her. I told him that I was looking out for him in case she annoyed him by following him around, and I just thought that he should have some space. He told me that I should have minded my business and not to get involved.
Am I wrong for wanting to be a part of my best friend's birth? I, 24 female, was asked by my best friend, 25 female, if I would be in the delivery room with her when she gives birth. I was surprised when she asked me, but I was excited because that's a really beautiful and personal experience that not many people besides a spouse, partner, or close family get to be a part of. But we have always been friends since elementary school, and I've always viewed her like a sister and thought it was amazing that she viewed me like family as well, and I accepted. My best friend's husband, 26 male, got really mad when he found out I was asked to be in the delivery room. He and I have never really gotten along, and he rarely says a word to me when we're all hanging out. We don't argue or openly dislike each other though, and I just figured he wasn't a very sociable person. My best friend still wanted me to be there despite her husband not being okay with it, because it's her decision, it's not his. She's pushing out the baby, not him, so whoever gets to be in the delivery room is her choice. At first, I just thought he wanted it to be a private moment for him and his wife, and I was prepared to tell her that I would not intrude and I would just come visit her after the baby had came and they had settled in a bit. However, it was revealed to me that her husband actually didn't want me to watch her give birth because I am attracted to and have dated women. I was a little confused because I didn't see how that had anything to do with the situation. The story comes out that the reason he never speaks to me or acknowledges my presence is because he doesn't want his wife to be friends with the woman who likes women. He doesn't want me watching her give birth because that means I'll be looking at her naked and it might make me attracted to her or want to hook up with her. He said that I had probably had a crush on his wife for years and I was just waiting for the right opportunity to get with her, and he forbid me from being in the room with them. I informed him that unless my best friend personally told me that she no longer wanted me in the delivery room, I was going to be there. Some friends have told me I am just being petty and could cause unnecessary problems in the relationship. I think that it is my best friend's decision who gets to be in there for her.
Best friend always projects her insecurities onto me. Should I break up with her? My best friend and I have known each other for exactly 2 years. We met in college and hit it off right away. We're both Latinas and we come from really big families. I have 2 other sisters and we get along really well. We always hype each other up and have each other's backs. A few months after I started my friendship with my best friend, let's call her Lucia. Lucia started showing some really toxic qualities. Sometimes I think I'm just reading too much into it or overreacting. So you let me know. First of all, she would start talking bad about my sisters in front of me. She would make comments like, "Wow, your sister's gained weight," or "Wow, your sister has cellulite." When she first did this, I would just defend my sisters, but then I realized that that just made her want to keep talking more trash. So if she ever said anything about my sisters, I wouldn't say anything. At the time our friendship started, I had a really big crush on this guy. He and I went to the same gym and I never had the courage to speak to him, not until my sister convinced me to. I finally spoke to him at the gym and we actually hit it off. We would work out together every now and then, and he finally asked me out on a date. The day of our date, my best friend came over to my house, and while I was getting ready, she started saying really weird things. At first, she told me that I should wash my hair because it looked oily. I told her my hair was freshly washed. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I could see her reflection and she just rolled her eyes at me. This is when things started clicking. Part 2 is up. My best friend projects her insecurities on me. Should I break up with her? I could see through the mirror that she had rolled her eyes at me. Then she started making other comments about my appearance. Mind you, I'm getting ready for a date. When I showed her the outfit that I was gonna wear, she said it was too revealing and that I would probably scare him off. Wasn't even revealing, it just showed my legs. It was a cute sundress with the cardigan on top. I told her I thought I looked cute. And then she said, "Allá tú, amiga." As I'm finishing up my hair and my makeup, she says, "Wow, you're gonna wear that much makeup?" But the way she said it was so aggressive, I actually took off the lipstick I was wearing. Instead, I just put on lip balm. I looked at her and she had a smile on her face. It was like she was happy she finally got to me. The date went really well and he actually turned into my boyfriend a few weeks later. And guess what? My best friend started judging everything about him. The first time she met him, she started saying, "Wow, I think he's balding," which he isn't. And even if he was, I wouldn't care. She also started making comments about him staring at other girls, something I never even noticed that he did, and I would know I'm with him all the time. It's like she was trying to plant all these insecurities in my head. One day, Lucia and my boyfriend and I are in his car. We were heading to the movie theaters when Lucia says, "Wow, you put on way too much perfume. It's giving me a headache." That's when my boyfriend told her that if it bothered her that much, she should just go home. And out of nowhere, Lucia swung her fist at him. She actually tried to attack him. Part 3 is up. My best friend always projects her insecurities on me. Should I break up with her? That's when she started swinging at my boyfriend. Luckily, I yelled at her and she stopped. It's like she was upset at me.
Anyways, if you are in the market to buy any new tech, by the way, I have a really
For yelling at her for trying to hit my boyfriend. That's when my boyfriend kicked her out of the car and I asked him to calm down. I got out of the car with Lucia and asked her to calm down. That's when she told me that I needed to break up with him and that he was clearly abusive. I told her he was just defending me. Then she said, "He doesn't need to defend you. I'm only saying this because I care about you." Then she called herself an Uber and left. My boyfriend and I went to the movie theaters and we had a really nice night. Here's some more examples of her projecting on me. While we were getting ready for a friend's birthday party, she started pointing out some stuff on my body. She said, "Your elbows are really dark. You need to fix that." Another time I decided to get some highlights and she said they looked horrible on me. She said I looked like a JLo wannabe. Luckily I didn't care and I just kept the highlights. Mind you, 2 months later she got the exact same highlights. Now, I know that she cares about me because she does have my back. She'll help me with anything I need, honestly. And I wonder if I'm overreacting, but I don't think so. I just don't know how to tell her that she's toxic. She makes me feel bad. What should I do?
Story time. Would you call this cheating? So a little background information. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school, and I was dating this guy who we're gonna call Tom, right? When we started dating, everything was super good. But a little bit into our relationship, I started to get the ick. Anything and everything he would do would literally irritate. So at that point, I told him that we should take a break. So we did. Well, while we were on this little break, I decided to go out with my cousin the one night. And she had brought this guy who she was talking to at the time. We're gonna call him Jake. Jake and I had the same classes in school, but we never really talked to each other. Well, I started to get to know him throughout the night, and I realized we had a lot in common. I felt like he was flirting with me, so I decided to flirt with him. When we got home, I had told her how much I really liked Jake. We ended up FaceTiming and falling asleep on the phone together. We all hung out again the next day, and I invited him back to my house. Like for part 2. Would you consider this cheating? Part 2. So like I said, we all decided to hang out again the next day. It was really cold out, so I invited everybody back to my house. And when we got back to my house, we were watching horror films. And I was cuddling next to Jake on the couch. And listen, I wanted to kiss him really bad, but Tom and I had just gotten done with our so-called break. So I decided to be loyal and not do that. Well, a few days after Jake and I talking, I realized that I wanted to be with him and not Tom. So I decided to end things with Tom, and now Jake and I have been together for a year and 2 months, and we couldn't be happier. But every time that we bring up Tom, Jake always tells me that I cheated on him. Would you consider what I did cheating?
Am I wrong for not attending my sister's wedding because my husband is not invited? Let me start by saying this. I do understand my husband's behavior is inappropriate, but like all of us, he's not perfect, and I took vows with him to stand by him and accept him as a whole person, including his flaws. Overall, he's a good husband and I love him despite this one issue. One issue could be something very big too. So, my husband has a kink for urinating on himself in public. I think it's the humiliation aspect that gets him all. So sometimes, not every time we get together with my family, he will pee his pants. But overall, it's not really that disruptive. He just stands up and says something like, "Oh no, I peed myself." Then he goes to the bathroom and changes. I always bring a change of pants and underwear for him in case this happens. And when he gets back, we just move on and don't talk about it. Of course, we don't want people to know my husband is doing this for a kink. So we've told my family he has a medical condition that causes him to not have full control of his bladder. I told him that the reason he doesn't wear adult diapers is that he's ashamed of needing diapers at his age. So he's basically in denial that he needs them and refuses to wear them. Well, now my sister is getting married and she says my husband can't come because she doesn't want him disrupting my wedding by peeing his pants. I told her it was unfair to exclude him over a medical condition he can't help, which is true as far as she knows, but she said it's his own choice to refuse to wear adult diapers, so it is his fault. I told her it's her wedding and she can invite who she wants, but if my husband isn't invited, I'm not coming. He loves my family and I know it really hurts him to be excluded from the wedding just because of a kink he can't help having. He's been crying and saying he feels disgusting for having this kink but that he can't control himself and now my family doesn't want him around. I know it would really hurt him if I just left him home and went to the wedding by myself. He told me it's my choice to go if I want and that he won't be mad, but I know he'd be really sad if I went. I love my sister and family, but my husband is my life partner, so he's always my number one priority above anyone else. And I believe I should stand by him and support him rather than choosing my family over him. So I told my sister I won't make it to the wedding and now she's extremely angry with me, saying I'm a bad sister because I won't be there to support her. She's marrying a woman, so she also said it makes me look like I'm homophobic if I don't show up to support their union. I told her I'd love to come if my husband is invited, but she said she can't stand the thought of him disrupting the ceremony or reception by peeing his pants and announcing it. I told her how much it hurts my husband that he's excluded, but she doesn't care. I do feel bad that it hurts her that I won't be there, but he's my husband.
Here's another shocking story that sounds fake but is 100% real. This is Leonid Rogozov, and he's a Russian doctor who went on a trip to the Antarctic. And there he started feeling very sick, especially on the right side of his stomach. Now, being a doctor, it didn't take long for him to realize he had acute appendicitis, which required his appendix to be removed or it might rupture and endanger his life. But no one else on the trip with him was able to perform the surgery. And the journey from Russia to the Antarctic at this point had taken 36 days, so there was no hope for outside help. This is when he decided to perform the surgery on himself. He had two people holding a lamp and a mirror so he could see what he was doing, and he used local anesthesia to take out his intestines and remove his appendix. Even his son Vladislav said he didn't know if that was humanly possible, but after 2 hours of surgery, Leonid succeeded and even returned to duty only 2 weeks later.